Well, it's the start of National Child Protection Week today. This year's theme is Let Us All Protect Children to Move South Africa Forward. The Social Development Department says 1 in 5 children is subjected to some sort of sexual, emotional or physical abuse before they turn 18. For more on this, I'm joined by Shaheda Omar, who is the Clinical Director at the Teddy Bear Clinic. So, Shaheda, thank you so much for coming through. Let us protect all children to move South Africa forward. Easier said than done, isn't it?
Indeed, and I would like to say that I beg to differ. This is not a Child Protection Week or Child Protection Week campaign. It's a 365-day campaign, and we need to revisit and review. We've been having these campaigns for so many years, and yet, what are the results? We continue to be faced with the scourge of violence on children increasing at a pandemic rate. And if we just look at the recent statistics, where a study conducted in Johannesburg and Soweto, where 99% of the children were victims of some form of violence under the age of 18. And if we just unpack that a little bit, 80% of children from the primary schools have been victims of violence and 90% from secondary schools. And yet if we look at child homicides, we're looking at least from the MRC findings, 2 children being murdered daily. SAPS statistics, 3 child murders a day. So what are we saying about Child Protection Week? Staggering statistics that you share there, Shaheda, and quite disturbing. Where are we losing it? Do we push the responsibility towards the politicians more than we should? Should campaigns such as this week be focused more on active parenting? Well, certainly it's a both-and situation. We need government departments to come to the party because each one works in silos. Yesterday we saw that at the Child Protection launch, the MECs of DSD, Education and Community Safety were assuming the role of champions of children. So all government departments and civil society, including parents, have a huge responsibility. But I think every member of society has a huge role to play to ensure the safety and protection of every and each and every one child. So when you weigh it up on balance, and I know this is, it's difficult to do, in terms of those things that put the welfare of children in peril, do you find that it's crime and violence more than it is the socio-economic conditions under which they grow up? For instance, children continue to be exposed to such things as pit latrines at schools that they go to, which have already taken lives in this country. Which one do you think, for you, really needs to be attended to as a matter of urgency? Well, certainly, for me, it's safety and protection. So when we look at protection, we need to ensure that more measures are put into place where children are given the necessary protection by everybody. And of course, safe spaces. We're finding with the latrine story, it's unacceptable in this day and age. But violence against children is something of a huge priority, and it needs national attention right now. Let's talk, as a last point, talk to me about the resources that are dedicated to such units as the Family Violence and Child Protection Unit, but also about the recent developments where we saw a mother being sentenced to life for protecting the abuser of a child. Those 2 developments, wrap them all into one. So the mother protecting her child, that was groundbreaking, a groundbreaking conviction. But at the same time, the perpetrator was not brought to book. And I think that is calls for attention again, where law enforcement agencies need to be more rigorous in their screening, the DNA, the delay. Justice delayed is justice denied. Then the other one you mentioned. I was talking about the resources dedicated to resources by family violence. We know that over 328 vehicles, there's a shortage in Gauteng province only. And then, of course, access to DNA kits, the rape kits, are not available. There's a backlog of over 10,000 in Gauteng province and in the Eastern Cape. So these are challenges. Again, government departments need to come to the party to ensure that these things are made available, budgets are allocated, and that they are made available so that justice can be fulfilled and that we can deter criminals from further violation.
You must shake your head a bit, Shaheda, when you hear politicians talking about being committed to protecting children when you know what you just described to me now in as far as allocation of resources is concerned.
And I want to say, show me the money. Put your mouth where you're, put action to the actual processes that need to be addressed right now.
All right, Shaheda, thank you so much for coming through. That is Shaheda Omar, who is from the Teddy Bear Clinic, talking to us at the start of National Child Protection Week. You heard for yourselves the statistics.